What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the OddsShopper Show, coming to you with a Monday Night Football edition of Lindy's Leans, Lights, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods, and great content that was entails. It wasn't on the video, unfortunately, for Sunday, because I didn't know Brian Robinson was going to get ruled out on Sunday, or on Saturday it was, but as soon as he did, we jammed, and I mean jammed Austin Ekeler. Ended up being my largest play by far of the entire NFL season. 2 units there in tails. I couldn't believe that it was sitting at 19.5, 20.5. It got bet up to 23.5. I still didn't agree with it. And no matter what number you got in at, he doubled it up. 47 receiving yards there for Austin Ekeler, 4 catches to go with it. Cashed the over 3.5 receptions for him. It was just beautiful times. Plus, if you saw the video, Courtland Sutton, he bailed out everything there, no matter what you were looking at. Courtland Sutton, plus 340 is where he closed at there on FanDuel. I loved it for anytime touchdown. And sure enough, Bo Nix, despite his abysmal first half, what are you doing, Bo? Come on, quack, quack. Hey, Ducks did pretty good on Saturday. But anywho, we ended up getting that one through. Let's get into Monday night because there's a ton of information, ton of new faces, great places. South Dakota, that's our theme and our license plate and whatever else. But anywho, you've got 50% off first week or month of Tails. Lindy 50 if you want to get everything. And hey, MLB, I think it might exclusively be in Tails from now on because they don't even tell me who the pitcher is going to be for a 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time game for the Dodgers-Mets Game 2 NLCS. What are we doing here? Sean Manaea, I know, is going to pitch, but the Dodgers apparently just don't have to release anybody, and that is a disaster when you're just trying to break down 2 games for the people on a Monday. So might do a video there on X, might do one in the morning that we can throw up on YouTube, but either who, 50% off all the plays, again, all of the plays on the over of 8. Hopefully that can come to fruition here on Sunday night. That game starts in 10 minutes, as well as the football game starting in 15 minutes. So I'm going to get myself flying, but $10 for your first week, $25 for your first month if you sign up at the link below. Okay, cool. Awesome. Producer Jacob's going to be editing, throwing everything together. I'm going to be producing here on my end. So go team, go me, doing this for the first time, really, for the people. I've done it a couple of times. I'm sneaky like that. Very sneaky, sir. Anywho, Bet365, we'll talk about them a little bit later. We're going to get into it. The Buffalo at New York, Monday Night Football. Let's get to the picks. And begin an absolute cluster F of a football game. Let's start breaking it down. I'm going to start with the weather of all things. 15-mile-an-hour winds across the field. Now, that's starting to get into the territory where you have to factor it in. You have to start saying, hey, this is problematic. We saw how much MetLife played like sloppy ridiculousness against Denver, and then they go over to London and they get their butts kicked by my Minnesota Vikings. Skull, week 6 bye, felt great. But as I look at the Monday night board, again, this offense has not been good in any way, shape, or form. In fact, anybody who's watched Aaron Rodgers the last couple of weeks is wondering what is going on. 24 for 42 against Denver, 57% completion percentage, 29 for 54 against Minnesota, just abysmal. But those are 2 of the better defenses in the National Football League. So I have to be a little bit careful in analyzing this and say, you know what, we shouldn't just say that it's the complete apocalypse. But that being said, the apocalypse happened as far as Robert Saleh being released of his duties 5 minutes after he released Nathaniel Hackett of play calling duties, which I find to be interesting. Wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that. But Jeff Ulbrich takes over as interim head coach. They are going to have Todd Downing calling the plays, which is pretty wild to me. I don't know how this ends up working because Nathaniel Hackett, very, very close with Aaron Rodgers, but stuff was not working. Nathaniel Hackett was a disaster when he went over to Denver. That's why he was released like right off the bat after a cup of coffee within that first season there. Ends up as the Jets offensive coordinator with his buddy Aaron Rodgers, who he teamed up with as offensive coordinator in Green Bay. But nothing has been successful, and it's really not been successful on the ground with Breece Hall. The man, over the course of 19 rushes the last 2 weeks, has 27 total yards. That ain't getting it done, and it's especially hurtful when you see somebody who is getting it done there in a Jets uniform, Braylon Allen. Now, 4.3 yards per carry against Denver, serviceable. He wasn't good either against Minnesota. Minnesota just doing everything they possibly could. Brian Flores, what an absolute GOAT at the moment here for the Minnesota Vikings. But the Jets are coming off back-to-back absolute eggs. We're talking Denver 10-9. Yes, it was terrible weather. Yes, it wasn't the best showing. You can have one outlier game, but then going over to London, getting your face stomped in by the Vikings could not have felt good. Now, Garrett Wilson did get involved towards the end of that football game. We saw 22 targets A lot of them short range targets for what it's worth, nothing more than 10-15 yards downfield. That gets me a little bit worried. Maybe something is up with Aaron Rodgers, but he goes on McAfee, talks about things as if he's just fine. And, obviously he didn't want to have Saleh removed, or maybe he did. I don't know. Nathaniel Hackett, though, that's his boy. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't know what to make of Todd Downing, but obviously something needed to change for the Jets because it was not pretty, especially with the skill position players that you have there. Maybe Breece Hall can start throwing it together. Maybe Braylon Allen can take over more of that offense. We shall see. But we're waiting on a number of lines in this game because of the injuries. This is the last part that we'll fill in before I get to my plays. Tons of them going on. Now, the Bills, questionable here with Khalil Shakir and James Cook. They're both expected to play, but we don't have any Khalil Shakir props as of recording this right now. If we did, I would tell you. There are some props that are missing on the Jets side as well, and here's the main reason why. Tyler Conklin pops up on the injury report. The guy's been targeted 17 times the last 2 weeks. The number 2 target earner behind Garrett Wilson here in this Jets offense. That's a big deal, and it's going to look very, very nice for guys like Mike Williams, for guys like Alan Lazard here, if he ends up on the field. And Jeremy Ruckert ends up being kind of your tight end 1 in that type of event. He won't be somebody who's as involved. Jeremy Ruckert, more of a pass blocker here at this stage of his career. He's just not very good, and this Jets offense isn't very good. I probably wouldn't be looking at backing anything positively there based on some of the numbers I would be projecting him for there. He's no Tyler Conklin out there, that's for sure. But let's get into the plays, shall we? Starting with my lean. Now, the leans, those are things I'm thinking about betting. Likes, those are generally around half unit. And a lock, that's generally going to be my 1 unit play. I do have 1 unit on the play coming up on that one. But something I'm thinking about betting big time is this Breece Hall receptions number. It's at 3.5. I'm staring down the under because you get a new offensive coordinator out there, and Breece Hall is somebody that is very, very talented. We've seen that a number of times, but it's just not working. It's not working right now, and maybe Braylon Allen, the young 20-year-old, finds a way out on the field for a longer period of time here in stints. And I think the passing volume you could be getting from him here, not looking ideal going up against this Buffalo team that does a pretty good job of limiting that side of the football. We saw them go into Miami, stomp it out on Devon Achane and company, even though he ends up having the lone touchdown in that game. And James Cook goes completely berserk in that. Oh, speaking of, that seems like something we should talk about a little bit more because this is the first play that I made for this game. And I think it's just very clear-cut, straightforward. James Cook expected to play. So long as he is active, I expect him to get a majority of the work here. Ray Davis, not somebody that they want to have on the field for a crazy amount of time by any means. In fact, you know how many times we've seen him carry the ball over the course of, against Houston? 0 times. 0 is the answer. 0 times he carried the football in week 5. Week 4, 7 carries. Week 3, 7 carries. But this comes down to passing volume. 14.5 receiving yards is the number here. If you have Khalil Shakir, who cannot be completely healthy here, yeah, I worry about the functionality of this Buffalo offense based on how Houston got after it, but I think you can have outlier games. And Josh Allen did not look good the last 2. I guess they were 2 really bad outlier games. But Dalton Kincaid, decent enough skill position player there at the tight end position. Keon Coleman, I think he still has some upside. We saw him take that 149-yarder to the house against Houston. Didn't catch his other 4 targets, which is a little bit brutal to me. But James Cook is going to have to be involved in the passing game because it is a very difficult matchup going up in this in MetLife against the Jets. Now, they lose Robert Saleh, who obviously a huge part of that defense and its success. He's also a huge part of the offense's inconsistency. But I look at this as one where if you're going to get it moved against the Jets, who average under 140-yard passing yards allowed per game, you're not getting it by way of anything other than Khalil Shakir basically out of the slot. You're not winning a lot of matchups with MVS on the outside or some of these other cats that they're trying to make things. My dear sweet God, it's just so disturbing. Curtis Samuel, they paid to basically do absolutely nothing and not be on the field. That seems like a pretty good job. Good job if you can get it. But I look at 14.5 receiving yards at Bet365, our friends here. It's too good to pass up. That is one you want to have involved. I would be betting this up to 16.5, assuming inside of -115. he's got to help out in the receiving game. He's got to be on the field and helping out. So definitely be firing that one up for a half unit. And then, well, you can fire it up right now at Bet365. When you bet 5, getting yourself $200 in bonus bets gives you a great opportunity. It's available in a number of states: Colorado, Louisiana, Virginia, Kentucky, New Jersey, Arizona. Why am I just reading this off the page? Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. It's because I'm a newt. I can't really help it. But Bet365, friends, they're a great sports book that is just basically giving you a ton. Whoop, click the wrong button. This is funny. Go me. Bet 5, get 200 in bonus bets right now. What a great opportunity for you. That's all I got for you. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Only if you're 21 and over. 18 and over in Kentucky. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's get to the lock. It's a little bit uncomfortable because I see the comment section. I know my ROI is much, much higher on props. I'm very, very good at props, but I think most people who do this day in, day out are much better at props. There are people in Vegas. There are people, in New York that I know very, very close, that I work with, that I talk with every single day, who find 3, 4, 5% edges on spreads by betting early. I record these the night before, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable sometimes because I'm like, it's 1% expected value. I'm not in love with it. I don't want to force it. Usually end up in the lean column on a lot of those. And then, I'll throw out some spreads earlier in the week. The last 2 weeks, there hasn't been a ton of value, I think, in the market. And we haven't seen like a bunch of crazy line moves based on injury news, even though there's been a ton of it, mainly because it almost always comes down to the quarterback position. Like Joe Flacco ends up starting there for Indianapolis today. And I thought that there were a number of ways you could jump on Pittman and Downs really, really quickly and take advantage of that news. Will Levis is just terrible. But anyway, when we're looking at odds, look ahead numbers, you have to take into account everything, and you have to be able to just track it throughout the week and say, I agree or I don't agree with this. I've been staring at this spread, and I've been staring at this money line all week long, and I find it's a little bit strange that the Jets offense has been so inept, so incredibly terrible, and yet we're still seeing no movement outside of this number to 3. I just think that Buffalo is the better football team between the two of them here at this point in time. I think overall, again, if you broke it into quadrants, I think the Jets have the best defense or offense amongst all 4 teams, or you know what I'm saying. The offense that exists here on the Jets side, though, is just so putrid. And Buffalo, they're not that far behind being a top 5 offense, I believe, in the National Football League. Just need Khalil Shakir to stay healthy, which is an insane thing to say that he matters that much to this football team. But assuming he's out there here, I think this is just full unit send. I mean, it's the Buffalo money line for me. I think you just see too much turmoil going on in-house here for the Jets. I have no idea how Aaron Rodgers is going to respond to a new offensive coordinator. I don't know if they can fix some of the deep shot issues. They don't really have any deep shots that they can take if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to push it 15, 20 yards downfield here. And Josh Allen surely is. He is going to make the improvements that he needs to here. And I trust Buffalo's defense to get enough done here to continue to get after the quarterback. This offensive line has not been solid here for the New York Jets. Obviously, they're not going to get blitzed upon the same way that they did against those Minnesota Vikings, but I absolutely think Buffalo's defense does enough here to hold this up. Again, I'm surprised that we don't see this spread moving more in some direction here. Again, this is bounced between 1 and 2.5 and things of that nature, but it is now landed at -120 as the number over at BetMGM as of recording this right now. That is your send, friends. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. Go Buffalo, just to get the win in any way, shape, or form on Monday night. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know if you're with me, if you're going to be backing Buffalo. Again, both these teams have looked brutal of late. I trust Buffalo to look less brutal on Monday night, getting some pieces back, and maybe something happens with Conklin where he ends up out. That would be useful. Again, Jeremy Ruckert ain't that. But anywho, go to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board here. I should probably throw this up here one more time. Tails, 50% off first week or month using code Lindy50. Alrighty, y'all. Until next time, whenever the MLB will be recorded, I don't know. NBA for sure will be recorded next Monday night. Oh, what a time to be alive. Got all my stuff updated there. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck on Monday Night Football.